Today is going to be more like a little diagnostic day. So we have a 2003 Chevy Tahoe Z71. Customer complaint, no crank, no start. Car's been sitting like for a year. Alright, so I kind of already played with it a little bit because they wanted me to replace the starter. Needless to say, I got there and they're like, hey, you know what, can you just check it out real quick? So we get in the car, put the key on the opposition, nothing. Like, nothing. So, anytime you come across this, when you get a no crank, no start, how is all the lights illuminating? Now, if all the lights are illuminating, then we're perfectly fine. Not perfectly fine. If all the lights are illuminating, most likely either we're going to have a starter issue, but in my case we're not. This will let you know if the starter is bad. I'm going to kind of go into a series of process of how to diagnose this. Alright, so again, we want to start it, nothing. Always make sure, these guys are known for being flimsy. So we're in reverse. So we go 1, 2, 3, drive, and then neutral. So you want to make sure you want to try starting it in a few gears. If it doesn't start, alright, cool. So we know you can either start this in park or reverse, but just make sure you double check it or hold the brake before moving anything. Alright, so we're going to leave the key in the on position. We're going to go to the front, check this fuse box right here. This is going to be your starter relay right here. So we're going to look for starter relay. So what we're going to do, this is going to determine if your starter is bad or not. Alright, so we're going to get a paper clip. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump. So we're going to go right here. We're going to jump terminal 87 with 30. So right there. So 30 and 87. So we're going to go right across. So just like that. So we're going to put one terminal right there. And then, let's see. You see how it started right there? So I wonder why it's not staying on now. Well, anyways, yesterday was staying on. I think we're on a kind of like a little gas issue because there was no gas. I drove it all the way over here, drove great. Alright, so now number one thing to do before you do anything, I need you to check your grounds. So right here, this guy, over time these guys tend to snap. So if it snaps, then you're gonna go ahead and repair it or replace it. These should be like 20 bucks on the dealership. Other ground straps, usually they're on the passenger or the driver block, literally kind of under the intake or exhaust manifold right here in this area, right next to the motor mount. This is a 4x4, so it's more of a pain in the butt to show you. Now if it is a 4x4, I feel bad for you guys because it is a pain in the butt to get to. For the two-wheel drives, you literally can see it real easy. Now for the four-wheel drive, what I think they did is that they put their ground strap wire right here, right next to the fog light. So you can see right there. So you see that little one? You need to make sure, I'm just gonna kind of put my hand right here, that it doesn't break right off. So double check it, make sure that's good, make sure that this other wire is good, check that out. And if those are good, then yeah, so we're gonna move on to the next step of checking out things. Alright, then also next what you can do to do as like a little quick ground test is that you can get one of the ground battery terminals and then hook up a jumper cable on a good ground spot. I use this little bolt right here. You can use the exhaust manifold, as long as you can get somewhere good on the block. Alright, cool. So we got that out the way. One thing I forgot to mention in the beginning, also make sure your theft light is not on. If your theft light is on, right there, that one, it should turn on, then turn off. So just like that, just how that did, that's what yours should do. Here on the side, you would just basically pull off this plastic cover just like that. We want to check ignition O fuse right here. It's so when you're looking at the little fuse box, there's this 10 amp all the way right there. That's going to be ignition O. You want to go ahead and check that out. And then another fuse that you want to check out, you want to check out the PCM fuse. So on this one, or you want to check crank fuse, and then where is it? Check ECM fuse, ignition E fuse. There's one more, I can't see it. Where's the PCM? Oh, right there, duh. So check PCM 1 and 2 just in case. So there's the 15 amp, 20 amp. So make sure those aren't blown. Next, you're gonna need a digital multimeter. We're gonna set it down to 20 volts. So right here, get this at Harbor Freight. So 20 volts. And it doesn't matter where you put your positive test lead. So we're gonna put one on the negative cable. If you have a second person that can help you out with this, perfect. Then we're gonna go to our crank fuse. So right there, we're gonna go to that fuse, and we're just gonna kind of dive it in there to make sure we're getting a contact with the fuse itself, or you can hold it up on top, right up there. So this fuse should not be powered on at all until you put the key on the on position. So we're gonna go ahead and crank the car, and then right here should. So we're gonna go ahead and crank it, and then that voltage should go right up. So since that voltage goes right up, we know we're getting a signal from the ignition. And the reason why I'm doing this, I want to make sure that that wire that goes from here to the to that fuse is turning on. Now I don't know from the fuse to the computer if it's working or not, if it's not sending a signal. So then we would go ahead and check from that signal. But I'm going to check one more step before we do that, because there's another wire that should power up the neutral safety switch too as well. So next, what we're going to go ahead and do is that we're going to make sure we're getting 12 volts. There's a pink wire. So right there. Alright, so next we got to go ahead and check our little fuse, our power cable. So this is we're going to be checking that pink white one, and we should get 12 volts when we are make sure you're not making contact with anything else. So we're going to have that connected right there. So again, that pink wire that's right there, that's going to be terminal C. And then we use this as a ground right there. And then we'll go ahead and put our thing back on 10. And then we should get voltage. If you're not getting voltage, that means your ignition switch is bad. So we are getting voltage. When we're cranking it, we're getting voltage. So we know that's good. So with the key on the on position, we're going to check the terminal on ignition E. So we're going to check that right there. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing how we did with the other fuse. Put the key on the on position, making sure that we're getting voltage. And if you are getting voltage, then perfect. We know that the whole ignition system is working. Now, next thing we need to go ahead and do, we need to go ahead and check the neutral safety park switch. So we're going to go under the vehicle, check that. If you're not getting voltage here, you need to make sure you check your ignition switch. The pink wire on terminal C right here. So I'll show that. So this wire right up here, you need to make sure you're getting power from there. If you're not getting power from there, then that means your ignition switch is bad. So I found the issue. So I took out the fuse box right here. So basically you take off these two 10mm bolts, or four. There's 4 13mm bolts. So 2 right here and then 2 right there. And it would be that bracket that's right there. Then you would go ahead and pull off this plastic cover right here, so it would sit just like that. You would have a little tab right here that you would push back, and then right here you can pull out, and then you can lift it right up, and that should come right out. Well, anyways, well, the rat got this wire right here, this pink wire, so that's for the ignition system. So I was checking right here. Which fuse was it? I had a voltage drop, I think it was on the crank fuse. Anyways, so we can go ahead and check it out. Wire madness. So it starts like a champ. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix those wirings. Also, one thing I should have done this in the beginning. I had code U1041, loss of EBCM or EBTCM communications. So that means no communication with the engine control module, and so on. But yeah, if this video helped you out, give it a thumbs up, comment down below if you have any questions, and hit that subscribe button for more upcoming videos in the future. And thanks for watching.